All right, let's take a look at another sign here. Well, actually, it's four signs. These are four signs that you would commonly see as a driver in Korea when you're waiting at an intersection. And specifically, these three, this one, and this one, are signs that are talking about left-hand turns. And this is something that I never even realized in Korea until I became a driver when I got my driver's license. Then I realized the importance of knowing the meanings of these three signs. So we'll start with the easy one here that says 동시 신호. 동시, as a beginner of Korean, you probably know that 동시 means at the same time. At the same time. Now, just a little quick lesson on how that is the case for 동시. 동, it means, well, here's the Hanja character for dong. It looks something like this. And this means same or similar or something like that. Similar. Now, this is the same she that you see in to refer to time or to refer to hours or to refer to something like that. And the character looks something like this. And always with the caveat with my Hanja things here is that I'm really not the best at Hanja, but it looks something like that. That's the character for she, that means time. And if you understand this as, oh, well, this means same or at this similar, and this means time. Well, that in this word here, 동시, means at the same time. Now, 신호 means signal, and specifically in this situation, it's the signal of a red light or a green light or a left-hand turn signal or something like that. So it could be this, or it could be just the green light, or it could be the red light. It doesn't really matter. Any of those would be called 신호 in Korean. Now, you can understand what this means. If it's a 동시 신호, what that would mean is you have you'll have a left-hand turn signal at the same time that the people have the green going straight signal. So if you ever see in Korea as a driver this sign that says 동시 신호, what that means is you are going to have a green to go left at the same time that the people who are going straight have the green. And obviously that means that's why it says 동시. It's at the same time the left end and the straight are going to be going. All right, let's look down at this next one here, which is a little bit more complicated, but nothing to really stress about. And especially considering we know the meaning of this, we can sort of understand why this would be hanging from a particular post. This one here, this first word here, 직진. Well, the verb of this is 직진하다, and this would mean to go straight. To go straight. And the noun form of this, if I take out the hada, it's whatever the noun form of this would be, which is, I guess, would translate to going straight. Going straight. Well, okay, if I know what that means, 직진 means going straight. 후 means after. And then this thing here, I'm going to actually talk about just for a second, just for a quick lesson, how to say the words left and right in Korean. Well, there's actually two ways to say left and right in Korean. And I'll make a little thing. There's the way to say left, and there's the way to say right. And there's two ways to say each one. One way that you can say it is the Korean way. And by that I mean there's no hanja for this way of saying left or right. This is a pure Korean word. If you want to say right, you would say 오른. And if you want to say left in this way, you'd say wen. Now, in both cases, these are words that can never be used on their own. They have to always be followed by something else. So, for example, you can't just say left and mean you can't just say wen or orun. You have to be referring to something else that is talking about the left or the right of something, or something that's on the left or the right. So, for example, words that you would commonly see with both of these, not just orun, but also with wen, words that you would see with both of these. For example, maybe if you said 발 as to mean foot, and that would refer to either your left foot if you said 왼발, or if you said 오른발, that would mean your right foot. Or you could also possibly say 손, and that 손 means hand, so it could be your left hand if you said 왼손, or you could say 오른손 to mean your right hand. So these are the Korean way that, as I said, there's no Hanja character for either of these things. There's also the Hanja way. And usually in signs, what we have is we're using sort of characters that are based off of Hanja because they seem to sort of be more to the point and more direct and more, honestly, a little bit more difficult. You're usually using the more difficult way. Now, in this situation, the way to say left and right, to say right, it's the word u. U. And I'll draw the Hanja character for that. It'll look something like this. And the Hanja way to say left is cha. Cha. And the Hanja character actually looks very, very similar. It looks like this. Same top and almost the same bottom, but instead of having a box at the bottom, you have this little looking thing. So there's this way to say left and right using the Korean ways, and there's this way to say left and right. Now, a common syllable, this is the Hanja of this, and this is the Hanja of this. A common thing that is placed after, as you can imagine, left and right is the word turn. Turn, to refer to obviously a left turn and a right turn. And the way that you can say that is the word hejan. 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 And if you say taoejan, that means a left turn. And if you say if you say uhejan, that would mean a right turn. And that's actually what we see here. And even before I talk about this taoejan here, let me just show you this Hanja lesson that I have here where I actually talk about direction. And here's the character for right, u, and here's the character for left, cha, and here's the character for hui, which refers to turning. So you can sort of see, if you know that this character here, cha, if this is the same cha here, if this means left, and hui means turn, well then what you're talking about when you say taoejan, well you're talking about a left turn. Well, that's what the whole video is about. So I don't really need to focus on, okay, well, that's what a left turn is. You know what a left turn is. But if we look at the rest of this sign, what came before taoejan, it says, after the going straight, that's the left turn. So in this previous example, the left turn and the straight were going at the same time. But in this example, what would happen is, okay, there's going to be a green light for the people going straight. But at that time, the people going left would actually have a red light. And when would the left people have their chance to go? Well, after these cars going straight, that's when you're going to have the chance to go left. And I think this is very good, and especially in Korea when everybody's in a rush and nobody has patience and everybody wants to get to where they want to get to as quickly as possible. That's good to know, because you're sitting there thinking, oh, well, these people going straight have a chance to go straight. Why can't I go? And they put this sign up to sort of say, okay, well, hold on there. Hold your horses there, buddy, because you're going to have a chance after the people who go straight get to go. You'll get to go. This third way is something that you'll more commonly see in sort of smaller streets. I'll even write that down, in smaller streets. And the reason why is this particular type of left turn is the type of left turn where I might even have to draw it here. If here's an intersection, here. There's actually no, and let's say I'm a car here turning left, and I'm turning left here. There's actually, in this particular situation, there is no signal that actually gives me a left turn. There, in this particular situation, there'd be sort of lights here, I guess, with a green light and a red light and all that stuff. But there wouldn't be a left-hand turn signal. You wouldn't see this left-hand turn and left-hand turn signal in this particular situation. What you would see is this sign hanging instead of that signal. And what this would mean is, if there are cars coming here, you have to let them go straight first. You have to let any cars here go straight first. And if there's no cars coming straight, then you have the ability to go. And I want to explain how this sign is actually saying that. Well, boho hada. I always like to talk about the verbs first. Boho hada means to protect. To protect. And boho, by that logic, boho, the noun form of that word, if I take out the hada, it just means protection. And B, it's sort of, I'll give you the Hanja character for that first. It kind of looks something like this. Oh, that was a little bit too slanted, but that's okay. It looks something like this. What it means is sort of like anti or no or something like that. So if you put this B boho together, what you're saying is you're not protected. You're not protected, and you can sort of understand why that makes sense in this situation, because, okay, great, I want to turn left. But if I talk about this type of light over here, and if I talk about this light over here, well, I have an actual light that's telling me I have the right to go left. And by that logic, nobody else is going to get in my way from the other lanes or anything like that because it's my turn to actually go. But in this particular street and in this particular intersection, you don't actually have that specific signal saying that you have the right to turn left. Instead, it's up to you to look to see when there are no cars coming. And if there are no cars coming, then you have the chance to actually go. And that's why it says you're not protected. You're not protected by these lights that actually give you the right to actually turn left. You don't actually have the right to turn left. You only have the right to turn left if you don't see a car coming. So these three signs are very commonly seen to talk about left turns. But this is actually not really a left-hand turn sign. It's just something that you very commonly see hanging in the same place near these things. And I wanted to sort of just mention it just because it's just sort of seen in the same place. We already know what this word here means. Shino means signal. We saw that same thing up here, so signal. And junsu sort of means to follow, in the sense of following the rules or something like that. The rules. Or you could also translate it to say obey. And you could also say, of course, obey the rules or something, follow the rules. And that's just saying, obviously, and of course, it's just saying, well, look, you have this red light, you have this green light. Don't break the rules. You should follow the rules. Don't go through a red light. Well, that was fun. I hope you learned a lot.